I thank Senator Young for, in his prepared remarks, making it clear that while we are focusing on the Saudis because we are part of this coalition, the Houthis do not have clean hands here either. Part of the reason that humanitarian supplies have a hard time getting to places that need it is because there are roadblocks put up by the Houthis as well, and there is this known connection between the Houthis and the Iranians, sometimes, in my opinion, a bit overplayed by some foreign policy thinkers, but it's real. And to your second point, in answer to my question, Senator Young, that is, to my mind, also the likely result of a deepening of the military conflict. If the Houthis had nowhere to turn, then the calculation might be different. But because the Iranians are there as a support system to lean on, a continued military campaign against Hudaydah would push them deeper into a corner and just broaden the scope of the military conflict. There ultimately has to be a political resolution here, and by simply upping the military ante and continuing the humanitarian crisis, you get further away from that political negotiating table rather than closer to it.
Indeed, yeah. The last thing we want to do is to exacerbate a situation where we already have 10 million desperate people on the cusp of starvation or passing away on account of the lack of medical supplies, and so we need assistance here, which is why it's important for the president to elevate the importance of this issue in his conversation with the Saudis during his coming visit, and I believe he'll do so. I believe he'll do so because the international community, NGOs, understand the importance of this. Many at the State Department and U.S. Agency for International Development have spoken about what a serious crisis this is, and we don't want to be short-sighted with respect to what a bombing of the port could catalyze. We also need to recognize there are other players in the Saudi coalition that can be constructive here as well, and the Emiratis. I would note that they've shown a willingness to be helpful here on a couple of different fronts. And I had the opportunity to visit with the Crown Prince yesterday and received his assurance that he would seek to resolve without delay a situation related to the forward stationing of inspectors in his country so that they could pre-inspect cargo before it goes into the port of Hodeidah. That would expedite the process and help mitigate a lot of the suffering that's occurring. Also had an opportunity to discuss with the Crown Prince this issue of 4 cranes. U.S. taxpayers paid for these cranes. I mentioned them in my prepared remarks earlier, and I've heard from the Crown Prince. He made a commitment there as well, and so I am grateful for his commitment, and I look forward to following up with the UAE government on this front. They're good